Okay, I started recording now. Suppose 1 billion rows, hard to pick a random permutation of 1 billion. Representing a random permutation requires 1 billion entries. Accessing rows in permuted order leads to thrashing. So this is the problem which we have. That's why we will use a good approximation to permuting rows. Pick say 100 hash functions. So instead of doing that permutation through, let's say, all the rows are reordered, we'll take simply hash functions. If you have universal hash functions, they will take each value to some other value, but most of the times you don't get collisions. That is the advantage of universal hash functions. Universal hash functions are based on, again, mathematics and statistics. They give something, which functions to be used. You can search and see what is the universal hash function. So if you use universal hash functions, your numbers, whatever you have, 1 to a billion indices, they will be reordered in hash after hashing. So it is only computing simply hash function there. So for each column C and each hash function HI, keep a slot MIC. So whenever you take each column and one hash function. So if you want 100 permutations, you'll take 100 hash functions like that. So if you take 100 hash functions, then 100 values you'll get. For each column C and each hash function, HI, keep a slot MIC. Intent, why do we are storing this MIC and what is the purpose of storing MIC? MIC will become the smallest value of HIR, which column C has 1 in row. That is, HIR gives order of rows for ith permutation. So here the algorithm is given. Once we go to the example, then you understand better. So first we will see the example. So two hash functions we are taking. Hx equal to x mod 5, gx equal to 2x plus 1 mod 5. So this first hash function will take first row to which row? H1 is what? H1 equal to 1 mod 5. 1 mod 5, 1, right?
Yes, sir.
So initially what we do, we'll put all signatures infinite. Then we start updating whenever we see a lesser number of row is having 1, we'll start replacing them. You understand what I'm saying? Put all signatures infinity beginning means they haven't got 1 in the whole column. Okay. Is it clear what I'm saying? Initially, yes, for that hash map, you put all infinity. All for each column, infinity is the first row, which is getting 1 after this hashing, right? Then we start update. If we see that third row itself is 1, then there is no meaning of keeping infinity, right? Not seen that 1 in that column. So after 3, if you see second is also having 1, you need to replace 3 with 2. But if you see later, after some stage, 1 is the row number 1 is also having the row number 1 is also having 1. You will replace 2 with 1. Which row is having 1 and which is the smallest row number? That is what we need to keep updating. So here, hx first hash function will take. Then first row is mapped to which row in this hash function?
1.
1. So then, if this row itself is mapped to 1. So in this row, whether we have 1 for that column 1, we have 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So then you replace infinity with 1. Okay. Right. Then is 1 having for C2 1? Row 1 is having? No. So infinity will remain as infinity. Till now we haven't seen, right? In which row you got 1. Now take this second row. Second row will go to which mapping? 2 mod 5. So it will go to 2. Each second row is having is second. It's we don't change for first column because already one is having row one is having, so we don't need to change it. See, even if two is, of course, here two is not one, so this will not change most of the times. But see, for second column, is second row is having one.
Yes.
So you replace second column for H function with 2. Then you take 3, 3 goes to 3. But anyway, already we have a smaller number. First row itself is having 1. We don't update. And here also we don't update anything. So H will not update much because we are getting the same rows. Then we will do now with GX. So first row goes to which one in GX?
Third.
Sir, but for the H value 5, they have put 0, right?
Yeah, 5 mod 5, they put 0. It's okay. Yeah, so GX. Anyway, you are comparing the whether numbers are same or not, right? Whether you write there 5 or whether you write 0, it in Jacquard similarity won't change. For both columns, you will get 0, 0 or you will get 5, 5, right, in your representation. If you start 1 to 5 or 0 to 4, it's okay. But here, what is GX G1?
3.
G1 is 2x plus 1, 3. 3 mod 5 is how much? 3. So now, this 1 is becoming 3, remember. Don't do it. Last time I did that mistake. 1 is becoming 3 now. But is this 1 is having 1 now in C1?
Yes.
But it is in the permuted order. Which row number it is 1?
3.
3. Right? 1 has gone to 3 now, mapping. But that
Right.
3 row is having in permuted order. After permuted order, 3 row is having 1 in column 1, right? So
Yes.
G1 equal to 3. Your infinity now changed. Earlier G1 might be infinity. Now you change it to 3 because in permuted order, third row itself you have seen 1. Is it clear what I'm saying?
So are we moving to row number 3 or?
We are not moving row number 3, but whatever we are considering that row in the permuted order, which row that is? We are considering here first row itself. But after permutation, what is the row number of that?
3.
3. So if it has in the current form, if it has 1 in permuted order, third row will have 1, right?
Right. Right.
So you are getting the first time. You till now you have seen only one row, that is the third row, and in the third row you got 1. That's why you are replacing infinity with 3. That is reasonable, right? Earlier you said you haven't seen 1, but you are saying that in permuted order, third row will have 1. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now take the second row. What is the second row in permuted order?
5 mod 5, 0.
0.
0. So we will see that if second row is having 1 in the present order, in permuted order, that will become 0th row, right?
Yes.
So is that having 1 for
No.
column 1? No. So we will not update that. G2 will remain as G2 only, 3 only. And is column 2 having 1?
Yes.
That is in permuted order, which row that is?
0.
0. So 0 is less than infinity.
Yes.
We will replace that. Then take the 3. Okay, H3. What is G3? Sorry. What is
2.
Third row.
2.
2. So in permuted order, it is 2, right? Then if you are
Yes.
finding in present order, 1 means in permuted order, second row you are finding.
Second.
So
Yes.
third is having 1 here. So in second order, we will see that is 2 is less than 3.
Yes.
So we will replace that. Earlier we thought the first row is 3, which we will see 1, but we got now second row is also having 1. So we will replace 3 by 2. You can see the color change here.
Yes.
The 2 is replaced with 3. No, 3 is replaced with
3 is
Anyway, once you got 0, then there is no need to see much, right? You cannot replace anything less than 0. So now our whole focus is on only first column. So where the fourth row will go into mapping?
4.
9 mod 5. 4. Here itself, you can say, not even looking at, if we replace 2 by 4, right?
Yes.
So we'll never replace 2 by 4. So forget about that. Anything your row number less than 2, then only you need to worry. Whether that also have 1, then can I replace this 2 with 1 or 0? Okay. Now 5. Where will it go? 5?
1.
5, 10 plus 1, 1. So 1, we should be very careful here, right? If 1 is having 1, this 2 will be replaced with 1.
Yes.
So what is the fifth row in the present order? What is the column value for fifth row? 0.
0.
That is in permuted order for first
1.
row, remember. But it is not 1, so we won't replace.
Right.
So how you got this? Finally, your signature. So we are not storing any permutation here. We are simply taking a hash function.
Right.
And with that hash, we are getting values. So you don't need to generate these permutations. You simply take the hash function. See that in present order, in hash map, where will it take? For that row, if you have 1, replace that if that is smaller than the existing your signature. So that is what this algorithm says. For each row or do begin, for each hash function hi do compute HIR. This is nothing but to which row you are going, okay? In the permuted order. This is hash map, right? H means for each column C, if C has 1 in row, because this if C has 1 in R, means original order is R. Permuted order is what? HIR.
HIR.
In the present, if C has 1 in R, for each hash function HI do, if HIR is smaller than MIC, HIR means your permuted order row number is smaller than MIC, then MIC equal to HIR. We are doing the same process now. I just explained it. See, whether your permuted order is having 1 and that is less than the existing value signature, then we will replace. See, if HIR is smaller than MIC, then MIC equal to HIR. HIR is the permuted order number, remember, okay? Is it
Yes,
clear
sir.
how we are computing this min hash? Because this is 3 steps, right? Find singles, then min hashing, then only we'll get the Jaccard similarity.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if you want to take another example for this to get more, okay, you take this now. So row 0 is mapped to this x plus 1 mod 5 is one hash function, 3x plus 1 mod 5 is other hash function. So in these hash functions, you can see 0 will be mapped to 1, 1 is mapped to 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 is the reordering. For this 1, 4, 2, 0, 3 is the reordering. Okay. Now initially, what values you have, signature values for these 2 hash maps?
Infinity.
Infinity.
Everything is
Infinite.
infinite. Okay, we'll start with that. Okay, now you verify this and tell me whether this updation is right. After transforming row 0 to in one hash function, it takes to 1, other hash function also takes to 1. So whatever you get for H1, you should also get the same H2 right here, because both are having permuted order numbers are 1s. Say why you got S1 equal to 1 here.
The original 0th row has 1 for S1.
1. And we will change with the permuted order, right? Permuted order of 0 is the 1.
1.
So 1. You have 1 for S1 and S4 columns. Only those columns will change, will replace by new values. Then see the second iteration. Second row will be permuted to second row and fourth row, right? First hash map will take you to the second row. And second means here the index is 1. So index of one row is go to index 2 row and index 4 row. Okay. So in which columns you have 1s for present order? only S3, right? See, this is the row we are at, right? What are the columns have ones in that row?
S3.
That only will be updated, right?
Yes.
Remaining things won't. So we need to see that S3 is the permuted order number is 2, and for first one, permuted order number is 4 for second hash map. Is 1 less than the existing thing or not? Is
Yes.
2 less than the existing thing or not? 4 less than the existing thing or not? That we will see. Yes, 2 is the less than the infinity, so we'll replace 2. For second hash map, 4 is less than infinity, we'll replace infinity by 4. Now, what about the second row is mapped to what? Index 2 row, index 3 and index 2. And index 2 is having ones only in S2 and S4, right?
Right.
If S2 value is more than 3, we'll replace for first hash map. Similarly, for S4 also, if it is more than 3, we'll replace. The coming value is less than 3, more than 3, we'll replace. So if you see here, 2 and 4 we got. Anyway, 2 is less than 3, we won't replace. Where are we? In second row, S2. We should consider
S2.
only S2. We have 1 right here. So
Yes.
we should replace with the 3, that is. Yeah, we are replacing with 3 here. Okay. And we also have 1 in S4. The row number is 3. The present row for S4 is 1, so we won't replace that. Okay. 3 is not smaller than 1.
Yes.
Okay. So this is how we compute the signatures. Once we get the signatures, and it is simple. How many rows are agreeing? By how many rows are not agreeing? So often data is given by column, not row. Example, column equal to documents and rows are shingles. If so, sort matrix once, so it is by row. So he's saying that sometimes you may get in a reverse order shingles and documents. So you need to sort. If so, sort matrix once, so it is by row. You may add this thing to your Google project to find out how much of similar content they have different pages. So one way of looking that though they may have different addresses, but most of the content is same in both. So now locality sensitive hashing, focusing on similar min hash signatures, other applications will follow. So locality sensitive hashing means general idea, generate from the collection of all elements, signatures in our example, a small list of candidate pairs. Pairs of elements, both similarity must be evaluated. So generate from the collection of all elements, signatures in our example, a small list of candidate pairs. Where did you use these candidate pairs earlier? Or not pairs, but at least candidate frequent sets, right? If you remember that. Candidate, it may be possible things. Later on, we evaluate and say they are not. So here also you don't need to compute taking each pair whether they are similar or not. Most of the pairs without evaluating itself, you can say they are not similar. So you can find out candidate pairs means you are reducing your workload. For each of the pairs, you don't need to do the same process. So by looking at itself or some of the rows, they may not be they may not be at any cost similar to other row, then why do you need to do all these process, right? Permuting, all those things. So that is what you should think here. A small list of candidate pairs of elements whose similarity must be evaluated. The remaining things are automatically, we assume they are not similar. Even if you compute, they won't become similar, okay? That is the idea. So if you have, suppose 100 documents, how many pairs you need to evaluate? 100 C2, right?
Yes.
What is 100 C2 number? Almost 10,000. It is n square complexity. 10,000 by 2, 5,000. So 5,000 is a very big number, right?
Yes.
So that's why, can we reduce without looking this 5,000 pairs, only 100 pairs will take, and remaining things, let's say, there is very minimal possibility they to be similar, something like that. So we are trying to reduce the number of pairs to be evaluated. For signature matrices, hash columns to many buckets and make elements of the same bucket candidate pairs. So for signature matrices, hash columns to many buckets. So those columns, we are hashing them. If they are similar, they should go to the same hash buckets, right? You are hashing the columns now. Each column to one hash value. Some will say that what should be that hash, but hash each column. If the columns are similar, what should happen? Those columns should be mapped to the same hash value, right? If columns are similar. If they have the same value, similar means, not this 0.75, whatever that is. So that is the idea. So you simply take hash, then whichever columns are falling into the same hash key, they are supposed to be similar. You understand the idea?
Yes.
If they are not hashing to the same value, then they are not similar, right? That is what the idea we are using. Instead of computing, it's a similarity between all the pairs. We will first take hash columns to many buckets and make elements of the same bucket candidate pairs. Means which are falling into the same bucket. For them only, we will try to find out or compute, evaluate whether they are similar or not. If they are falling into different buckets, they are dissimilar. That is what our assumption. They are falling into different buckets because their signature is not same. If signature is same, we are hashing the signature, right? If signature is same, signature is nothing but that values in that column, signature matrix. So if that document signature is same to other document, they should go to the same hash value. If they are falling into different hash values, means their signature is different. When their signature is different, they are not similar. So candidate generation from min hash signatures, pick a similarity threshold T, a fraction less than 1. So you put when do you say two documents or two columns are similar, the maximum value you get 1. So you put a threshold anything less than 1. We want a pair of columns C and D of the signature matrix, M to be a candidate pair, if and only if their signatures agree in at least fraction of T of the rows. So rows number is common for signature matrix. Can you compute this? If you want threshold something 0.8, how many rows should agree? Can you compute that value T? T is nothing but that computed value, right? So you have 100 rows and you want minimum 0.8 similarity. How many rows they should agree?
80% of the rows.
80 by 100 should agree. This T will become 80, right? If and only if the signature agree in at least fraction T of the rows. So first we will fix a threshold. From threshold, we will compute how many rows should be agreeing for those two signatures. So that is MIC equal to MID for at least fraction T values of I. So big idea, hash columns of signature matrix M several times. So you hash signature matrix M several times. Arrange that only similar columns are likely to hash to the same bucket. We are not going to the implementation. Our whole purpose is if they are similar, they should be hashed to the same bucket. That is what we are trying to build, some hash functions. This is the big idea. So we don't need to compute which columns are falling into two different hash values or hash keys, mapped to different hash keys. They don't need to be evaluated whether they are similar or not. But if they are falling into the same bucket, then we need to evaluate whether they are same or not. That is the big idea here. Hash columns of signature matrix, M several times. Don't do only one hashing the columns. You do several times. At least if they fall one time into the same bucket, it's okay for us. We will compute or we will evaluate whether they are similar or not. If all of the hash maps or hash functions, they take two columns into always two different hash keys, then we don't need to evaluate them. That is the idea which we are going to use in future. So here idea is hash columns of signature matrix M several times. Arrange that only similar columns are likely to hash to the same bucket. Candidate pairs are those that hash at least once to the same bucket. Is it clear why we are taking more hash functions now?
Yes, sir.
One hash function may not put them into the same bucket. Okay, because we are not looking all the signature is same, right? We are looking only part of the signature is same, then they may be similar. That T and threshold is that only, right? We are fixing now.
Yes.
Okay. So now we do it. See, we know that they are not same signatures. If they want to fall into the same signature, if you take this hash map on the total signature, you may not get them into the same hash bucket. So now we need only T columns or T rows should be same. So we will always select only TT rows, something like that. It's see. So even if once they fall into the same hash bucket, means at least T times they are same. So that's why they're falling into that. So that is the idea which they are using. Again, B bands, matrix M, then one signature, then rows for band. So what we are doing is we don't do the entire signature to hash. So we will divide that in signature into some bands now. So R rows per band. So if you have 100, then 20, 20, 20 means 20 bands will take. For 20 bands, we will hash. Then at least one band should come into the same bucket if they are similar. See here, try to understand how they are explaining. Divide matrix M into B bands of R rows. So this is B bands of R rows. Total number of rows is how many? R. Then, okay, total number of rows are here, it is given B bands, B. And each band is having R rows. If it is 100, if B is 100, R equal to 20, how many bands, how many? No.
2000.
Yeah, total is R. You are making B bands. So if 100 rows are there, if you want to make 5 bands, how many rows will get one band? 20 you will get, right? And nothing but it's your signature you are putting into 5 parts. If it is B is 5. If it is 100, then 100 parts. So divide matrix M into B bands of R rows. For each band, hash its portion of each column to a hash table with K buckets. So for each band, we are not hashing the entire signature now. Band wise we are hashing, okay? For each band, hash its portion of each column to a hash table with K buckets. Who will decide this K? User input again. So how many buckets you want to put, that is, but advice is make K as large as possible. If you take small K, what will happen?
Many will fall under the same bucket.
And they may not be same, right? Because you have very less chance them to divide into only 2 buckets. If you put even not similar also will get into those 2 buckets only. If you take more and more buckets, then only similar ones will get into those buckets because it has more cushion to distribute among those K buckets. If you remember your hash, how it is defined, it is easy for you to understand. Okay, make K as large as possible. Candidate column pairs are those that hash to the same bucket for greater than or equal to one band. So even if the entire signature may not have same, but if their bands are same, then they will get into at least one map, one hash map, take them into one bucket. Okay, same bucket. Column pairs are those that hash to the same bucket for greater than or equal to one band. So what we did, divide matrix M into B bands of R rows. For each band, hash its portion of each column to a hash table with K buckets. K as large as possible. Then now we are saying that it's even if one band they agree, they will go one hash map, take them into the same bucket, right? Then we are not saying that it's they are similar. We are saying that they need to be explored, and no hash map agree for two columns on any band. Do they be similar?
No.
We are eliminating like that. It's we don't need to compare or compute or do some evaluation whether they are similar or not. Tune B and R to catch most similar pairs, but few non-similar pairs. So tune B and R to catch most similar pairs, but few non-similar pairs. So what will happen if you take more bands? What will happen? They agree one column is most probably right. One row agreeing with one row, two rows is most probable thing, right? So if you make a B value less, then you'll get most of the things you need to compute or you need to evaluate for similarity.
So B and R are user inputs?
Yeah, R is the signature matrix. Right? R is the how many permutations you take.
Right.
So that is user input only again. So if you take less number of R's, your signature will become small. We have said that if you take more permutations, then you have more chance that signature matches exactly the input matrix
Yes.
when you compute. So R also should be large, B also should be large. But again, if you make a B also should be large and R also very large, then again your computation is almost same to your input matrix. So tune B and R to catch most similar pairs, but few non-similar pairs. Means it's a, what will happen? It's if your band size is less, what will happen? Instead of 5 rows, you will have in each band only 2 rows. Do you agree that it's a two columns agreeing same values on 2 rows is more probable than agreeing on 5 rows?
Yes.
So if your band size is bigger, if your band is everything, then entire signature, then there is no question of it is reducing anything, right? You are getting again computing similarity same on that complexity. So you shouldn't make it completely equal to R, and you shouldn't make very small also. If you make very small, then your evaluation is again all the pairs should be evaluated. So like that, here it is said, tune B and R to catch most similar pairs, but few non-similar pairs. So we'll see that it's some advice we'll get how to tune R and B. Hash functions for one bucket. So you have a bucket, hash functions for one bucket. So R rows you have in this band, and this band, one hash map is taking into like this in buckets. Now earlier, how many columns you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns you have. How many pairs you need to evaluate without doing this locality sensitive hashing? 7
C2.
7 C2 is how much? 7 3s, 21 pairs. Now, if you take hash map and see that whether they are hashed to the same bucket. If they are hashed to the same bucket, then only you will see whether they are similar or not. Remaining things you ignore. So according to this, how many pairs you need to evaluate after this hash map? How many are falling into this? Only 2, right? 2 pairs.
Right.
That's all it. And this hash map is saying us, look at these 2 pairs. If you take another 3, 4 hash map, each one may say that it's a 2 more, but it won't be 21. Anyway, columns 2 and 6 are probably identical in this band because 2 and 6 are mapped to the same thing. So columns 6 and 7 are surely different. Why? 6 and 7 are surely different.
They're not mapping to the same bucket.
So here one caveat, if they are falling into the same bucket, we are not saying that they are similar. But if they are falling into different buckets, they are definitely dissimilar, okay?
Yes.
Because we are taking bands, some bands, if they coincide, then they are falling into the same bucket. But no band coincides with any band in other, then they never come into the same buckets and with any hash map, means they are dissimilar. Nothing is common between them. So that is what we are eliminating them, not to evaluate further. So some examples are given in bands. Suppose 1 lakh columns, signatures of 100 integers. Therefore, signatures take 40 MB. Some statistics are given because we are looking at the massive data sets. Suppose 1 lakh columns, 100,000 columns, signatures of 100 integers. So if you take 100 integers, therefore signatures take 40 MB. Want all 80% similar pairs of documents. So if you want 80% similar pairs of documents, if you, it's a, even if 20%, if you cannot catch, it's okay, but at least 80% you should be able to catch. And then pairs of signatures can take a while to compare. Now, how much this will become? This is 5 lakhs, something like huge number, right? Choose 20 bands of 5 integers. Choose 20 bands of 5 integer bands. Okay. So you have how many signature rows? 100, right? Signature of 100 integers. So they want 20 bands of 5 size. Then you'll get 20 bands of 5 size. Suppose C1, C2 are 80% similar. Probability C1, C2 identical in one particular band is 0.8 power 5, that is 0.328. So if you take 5 rows, if they are 80% similar, okay, if they are 80% similar, probability C1, C2 identical in one particular band. What is probability that in one particular band they are similar? How do you get this 0.8 power 5? First row to be agreed, what is probability? Both to agree on first row, there are 5 rows.
0.8.
And each row agreeing with the other row in other column, probability is 0.8. This is random. It's if you take one row here and other row in other column, then agreeing probability is 0.8 for them. Then first row to agree is 0.8. Second row in that band to agree is 0.8. 5 rows continuously to agree. What is probability?
Product of all.
Multiplication theorem, right? In probability. So if 2 things simultaneously should happen, means both probabilities you should multiply if they are independent events. Here independent events, here they are. So your probability of 80% if they are similar in a band, if they agree, what is probability to agree? That is 0.328, all 5 rows to agree. If they agree all 5 rows, then only they will go to the same bucket. Otherwise they won't go, right?
Yes.
Probability C1, C2 are not similar in any of the 20 bands. So in one band to be similar is 0.328. What is not similar in one band probability? 1 minus 0.328. And you are looking, they shouldn't be similar in any band. 20 bands you have. In any band, they shouldn't be similar means again you need to multiply this probability 20 times. 1 minus 0.328, 1 minus 0.328, this multiplication. So how much you are getting this value? not similar in any one band, that is 0.00035. That is about 1,000, 1 of 3,000th of the 80% similar underlying sets are false negatives. What does it mean? One will miss out of 3,000 if you use this method. If you use this bands and AshMap method, how many will miss? Means for 3,000, one you will miss, okay? For 1 lakh, how many you will miss? How many pairs you will miss?
33 approximately.
No, 33, whatever that it's saying. 1,33,000. It is not a big number when you compare how many pairs you will get, right? Your pairs is 1 lakh columns. 1 lakh multiplied by 1 lakh. That is a very big number, right? In that you may miss only 30, right here. Okay. So if they are 80% of similar, then they will fall into the same bucket. At least let's say most of the times only you may miss 30 out of 1 lakh documents. That is not in pairs. 1 lakh multiplied by 1 lakh pairs, you will miss only 30 pairs. Okay, what happens if your similarity is small? If suppose C1, C2 only 40% similar, in one band they agree is 0.01. In a no band they agree is probability C1, C2 identical in greater than or equal to 1 of 20 bands is less than or equal to 20 multiplied by 0.01, 0.2. But false positive is much lower for similarities. So if they are not similar, they never come into the same band. So if they are 40% similar, then what is happening here? To be similar in one band is just 0.01, right? The same thing, it's the same trick we are using. 0.4 to agree any row, there are 5 rows. All 5 rows should agree simultaneously 0.4 power 5, that is 0.01. Then probability C1, C2 identical in greater than or equal to 1 of 20 bands. So if if they fall into the same bucket, then at least one band should be same. So one band out of 20 bands, you have probability for one band, how much? 0.01, right? For 20 bands, how much of probability you have? They have the same signature, 0.01 in that band. So that is equal to 0.2. But false positive is much lower for similarities, less than. So you are getting something like 20%. 20%. Non-similar also, 20% non-similar also coming into the similar. This is they shouldn't be similar, right? Your threshold is 80%. But you put, even though they are 40% similar in this formulation, they are coming into the same buckets because of this probability. So how many that false positives you will have, but false positives much lower for similarities less than 40%. Actually here you are getting 20% chance is there, even though they are not similar. Even though they are not similar, they are falling into the same bucket. So for 40% similar things, you have 20% times they report as they are similar. But anyway, we will evaluate, right, after coming into those buckets. We are not taking blindly, it's if they fall into the same bucket, they are similar. This is the problem. Even non-similar also may fall into the same bucket. That's why we need to evaluate them after getting them into buckets. Is it clear what I'm talking?
Yes.
If they are not falling into any bucket, they are not similar. That is clear. But if they are falling into the same bucket, there is no guarantee that they will be similar, because this is one case we have studied. Even if they are 40% similar, there is chance, roughly 20% chance is there that they will go to the same bucket. Okay, go ahead. Somebody is asking something. Okay, analysis of LSH, what we want. Probability of sharing bucket, no chance if S less than T, and probability equal to 1 if S greater than T. So that is what ideally we are looking. We don't need actually again evaluate all those things. If we get ideal, anything less than T, then we shouldn't get any bands into the same bucket. And greater than T, at least one bucket should bring them into the same bucket. So what one band of one row gives you, so similarity of two sets, this T you are putting, then you may get some false negatives and false positives. What is our optimization? We should reduce both, right? We should reduce false negatives also, false positives also. That may depend on your T. So remember, probability of equal min hash values equal to Jacquard similarity. Okay. So what B bands of R rows gives you, so here some mathematically they are proving that as you increase this T, there is very less likely chance that they miss to be similar or they miss to be fall into the same bucket. So this is probability of sharing a bucket. So we took 40% and 80% examples. And as T increases, then this is a curve, let's say, anything less than some value, they are not falling into same buckets. Only the small area, whatever that it's say, this suddenly it is going up means anything greater than the T, it is falling. Such function we are trying to find out, that is at least one band identical, no bands identical. This 1 minus s power r means 1 minus s power r for the same formulas we used here. It's how we computed this. 1 minus 0.32820. 20 is the band number. That only is explaining with in terms of the variables here. So 1 minus yes is the similarity s power r 80%. If then we'll put 80% s power r power the whole power b, that is 1 minus. So some row of a band unequal, he is explaining each terms. All rows of a band are equal is s power r. Then some row of a band is unequal is 1 minus s power r. No bands identical is 1 minus s power r. This whole bracket 1 minus s power r b is some row of a band unequal, at least one band identical. Then example B equal to 20, R equal to 5. Then what is probability that they become in the same bucket? If they are only 0.2 similar, then what is chance that they fall into the same bucket? Six out of how much this is? 6 of 1,000. In 1,000, 2 will fall into the same bucket. What about the next one? If you take 0.3 similar, if they are 0.3 similar, then how many fall into the same bucket?
47 out of 1,000.
Still small numbers. You are reducing huge numbers. Remember, see, we have seen that 1 lakh means 1 lakh square pairs you need to see. 0.4, 0.186. So as you increase, what is happening here? 0.8, then all are falling, right? Almost. In 10,000, you are getting 9,996. Okay. How many you are missing? Only 4 you are missing. If they are 0.8, 4, they are supposed to be fall into the same bucket, but they are not falling. But almost you are catching everything. So if you are increasing T, then you catch most of the times all the pairs which are similar into the same bucket. LSH summary, tune to get almost all pairs with similar signatures, but eliminate most pairs that do not have similar signatures. Tune to get almost all pairs with similar signatures, but eliminate most pairs that do not have similar signatures. We are saying most, we are not saying all, eliminate all, right? That is not possible. Check that candidate pairs really do have similar signatures. Optional, in another pass through data, check that the remaining candidate pairs really represent similar sets. In another pass through data, check that the remaining candidate pairs really represent similar sets. So if you want to use directly, you can use, because you are getting it, see, roughly as highly similar, then you get it, see, they fall into the similar buckets. But here it is said in another pass through data, check that the remaining candidate pairs really represent similar sets. Go to the input matrix and check. That here it is given. Not only just go by the signatures, because we converted input matrix to signature matrix, right? Signature matrix is not the exact representation of the input matrix. We are just taking some permutations, computing that signature. If you want to really say these two are similar, then go to the input matrix and compare your all values there. That may be big, but you reduced your computation. Instead of checking 1 lakh square things, now you may check something like, I'd say 300, 400 similar pairs. So now you can do that with the even original matrix. That is what this. In another pass through data, check that the remaining candidate pairs really represent similar sets, not just signature wise. So I'll stop it here. Actually, I'd say I supposed to finish applications also, because if we spend some time.